Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to my Creative World number 4 Final Tour Edition. I feel as though that there should have been gunshots right after that. I'll edit that in later. So, how is this world tour going to work, guys? It's going to work like every single other of my world tours, except this one is going to be a lot longer. So, I'm going to show you each individual thing that I've made in this world. I'm going to talk about it for just a little bit. I'll let you know what it is, and I'll also let you know whether a tutorial exists for it. For instance, this is my hotel number 1, guys. It's actually referred to as a modern hotel on my channel. A tutorial for it does exist, but let's say that a tutorial didn't exist, guys, and you wanted a better look at this thing. Well, if you take a look at each one of my individual world tours of this channel, guys, I have done 5 mini tours of this world, then I usually take a little bit longer and explain in a little greater detail and talk about each individual build a little bit more than I'm going to here. So, if you guys want to do that, if you see something that you like and a tutorial hasn't been made for it, feel free to check out the card system and the links below down in the description for each one of the 5 individual tours of this world, and you might get what you're looking for. But this is Modern Hotel, guys. A tutorial exists on the channel. Moving on down, this is my miniature brick house. I believe that it is the only miniature brick house that I have ever made. So if you guys want to find this, make this. And by the way, this looks very cool with both an interior and an exterior. A lot of these builds that you're going to see, since we're kind of like working from like the back of the worlds forwards, a lot of these builds don't have any interiors or exteriors with them, but as I get closer and closer to the beginning, you guys are going to see that a lot of the builds that I made, like, later on, because, believe it or not, like, this is the earlier stuff as we're at the back of the world, a lot of the stuff that I made later on, I started including, like, gardens and interiors and stuff, and you'll get a better idea what it looks like from the outside view. So, this is my miniature brick house, guys. Tutorial exists on the channel if you want it. This is the ghost emoji, guys, one of my very many emojis. I have made a tutorial for this, check it out on the channel. Here we have one of the many memes that I've now made, guys. This is me, Gusta. Eyes completely in 2 different directions. I have made him. Feel free to check him out on the channel. Here we have the moon emoji, the creepiest emoji that I have made today. A tutorial exists for this guy, feel free to check him out on the channel. That's moon emoji. Here we have one of my many brick houses. Can I remember what number it is? Absolutely no idea. But this is yet another one of those buildings that benefits quite a lot from a garden, guys. This with a garden actually looks really, really cool. Now, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that this is brick house number number 12 or number 13. I think that it's either one of those. However, a tutorial exists for this on the channel. Feel free to check it out if you like. And by the way, you may notice that I'm doing a 360 of all of the houses. That's just because you can't always get like the whole picture just from looking at the front of the house. So each one of the houses I'll do a rotation of, but everything else, absolutely everything else, we are just going to drive by. So this is Brick House, I want to say 12 or 13. Feel free to check it out in the Brick House playlist and you won't go too wrong. Here we have, and I'm not going to show you the entire thing, guys, even though it is a statue. This is a raptor that I made, based on Jurassic Park Raptor in Minecraft form. You guys can feel free to find this on the channel if you like. You'll be able to find it very, very easily. Just type in raptor. This is one of my other memes, guys. This is my rage face meme. Not one of my favorites, because it was so incredibly difficult to build. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you so wish. Here we have, guys, a Dragon Ball, which was not received very highly, unfortunately, but if you do like this, if it tickles your fancy, feel free to find this on the channel. Just search Dragon Ball statue and you won't have any trouble whatsoever. Here we have one of the first of many YouTubers. We have ZexyZek. If you guys want to find him on the channel, just feel free. A tutorial exists for him. Check out the YouTuber playlist or just type in ZexyZek. Here we have an unfinished house which will never be finished, probably, maybe. It might be if I ever find a top to it. You can see the general idea of it, but obviously a tutorial doesn't exist for this thing because it is not really finished. Here we have the pig emoji. I'd make a pig oinking sound, guys, but it's way too early in the morning for this. But if you want to make this very cute emoji, one of the few animal emojis that I've made, feel free to check out my emojis playlist. Actually, I should have mentioned that I have an emoji tutorials playlist, or just type in pig emoji to the channel. I've made a tutorial for it. Here we have Ant-Man. This is an Ant-Man statue based on the Ant-Man out of the Marvel Avengers skin pack. Guys, this is not my own design. Just to prove that. Where am I going? Where's my changed skin? There it is. Just to prove that, guys. Not my design. Mine would have looked a lot better. But this is the Ant-Man statue. Made it because of the film coming out. Obviously, it was highly requested. This you can find on the channel, Ant-Man statue, or the Marvel playlist. Let's move on to the next row, guys. So here we have one of my more popular houses to date. This is my suburban house number 1, and despite the fact that I think that this looks perfectly fine without a garden, this house is only amplified tenfold by adding a garden to it. If you guys like this, suburban house number 1 on the channel, or just check out the house playlist. Moving on down, here we have the purple devil emoji. Now, I haven't actually made a tutorial for this thing yet, so if you want a tutorial made of this, feel free to leave a comment down below telling me it's about time that I made it. No tutorial for that, tutorial for suburban house number 1. Moving on down, here we have one of my most prized Apple builds. Here we have the Apple Watch, which didn't receive so much love on the channel, but honestly, I think that this is one of the better Apple builds that I've done. You guys can find a tutorial for this either in the Apple playlist or by searching in Apple Watch into the channel. I think that this is one of the better builds that I've done. Here we have moving on down. Now, this isn't completed because I couldn't ever get it to look right, and plus I put like a cross on the top of it. But this is Kame House from Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, or whenever it decided to show its face in the series. You guys might recognize it. This is Master Roshi's humble abode. It's on the middle of an island in the middle of an ocean. As you can see, it's just a very basic structure. I could never really perfect this as much as I tried. No tutorial, obviously. Here we have, I believe that this is Small Cabin 1 or Wooden Cabin. I'm not entirely sure what I entitled this, guys, but this is one of my favorite cabin builds that I've done. Believe it or not, I've done quite a few cabins. If you guys want to search cabin into the channel, I'm sure that this will come up, or if you check out the wooden house tutorial playlist or miniature house playlist, I'm sure that this would come up. This is a spectacular looking house, and I like it more and more every time I look at it. Moving on down, here we have the cat emoji, which you guys can also find a tutorial for on the channel. Ah, adorable. Here we have a fence post statue, which I have never made a tutorial for because I try to stay away from the mundane, although I should probably do it. It's actually a pretty decent statue, the fence post statue. It's a fence. That is all. Here we have a varied amount of tracks, I should say, if we're going to go grammar mode on this. So that is, I can't remember, the powered rails on the right, might be wrong about that. That's a pressure plate. I think these are the powered rails that's coming up to us on the left, and we should finish off with the regular rails. Now, I've not done a tutorial for any one of these 4 individual rails, despite the fact that I think that these actually look pretty good, and I think that they'd actually look better if you had like, if you extended the rails, like if for instance you took the powered rail and you like added a few more going up. I think that might look kind of cool, but that's just me. Moving on down, we have the Jurassic World logo, which you guys can find a tutorial for on the channel if you're into Jurassic World, dinosaurs, anything like that. Feel free to check out the logo playlist or simply type in Jurassic World logo into the channel. Here we have most of a beacon statue. I did actually make a tutorial for this thing, but I never posted it to the channel, and I have no idea why. I do know why, actually, because it takes 30 minutes long, and it is mostly placing glass, which is very hard to see, and I get very irritated about halfway through it. But no tutorial really exists for this, the beacon statue, but it does look okay once it has been 100% fully done. As you can see, it's kind of in progress here. Moving on down, here we have LD Shadow Lady, I believe her name is, another YouTuber. You guys can find a tutorial for her on the channel. Remember, exclusive YouTubers playlist, that's actually a playlist, or just type in LD Shadow Lady. Nice statue. Moving on down once again, here we have another emoji. We have the laughing, crying emoji. I particularly like that one. You guys can find a tutorial for it on the channel if you so want to. Here we have, I believe that this thing is called Survival House number 2. It's either Survival House number 2 or Survival House number 3. The idea behind these houses are that they're made out of easy to get materials that you'd find probably on day number 1. And this thing actually looks alright. It's kind of like a different style to what I usually make. It's a big triangle, and it actually looks better with a garden. I quite like this house, despite the fact that it's made out of ugly materials, and it was... I decided to keep it kind of small because of the whole Survival House nature. If you want to make it, feel free to just check out Survival House on the channel. Moving on down, I won't show you this. This was my first draft of a Despicable Me minion. I said I won't show you this, and then I proceed to show you. This was my first draft of a Despicable Me minion, and as you can see, I didn't get it quite right. But moving on down, you can see I got it right a little later on. So this is just like a pixel art of a diamond ore block. In a real world, there would be 3 other sides to this, 4 if you include the top, and it would be a diamond ore block statue. I might still do that at some point, because the original version of this isn't done very well. And this is my minion statue. I've actually made 2 versions of this. I have this version, which I think is a little bit more to scale and actually looks like a minion. I really like this. And I've also made one that actually looks like a skin statue. I've made a skin statue version of a minion as well. Kind of like that, except all minion-y. If you type in a minion statue into my YouTube channel, it'll come up with both of them, but it'll be obvious which one is which. Moving on down, here we have another YouTuber, and I regret to inform you guys that I cannot remember his name. I'm sure that quite a lot of you will be able to identify him, but I am drawing a blank. I cannot remember this guy's name, guys. I'm sorry. But feel free to check out the YouTuber playlist, or if you actually know his name, if you want to make him, a tutorial does exist for him. Moving down, here we have... I believe that this guy's name is Think Noodle, and I really like this guy's skin. Again, this has a tutorial. Feel free to check this out on the channel if you want to see it. Moving down, here we have the One Piece logo, the Straw Hat logo. My man, Monkey D. Luffy. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you want to make it. Here we just have a small version of the Soul Eater logo. I've not actually made a tutorial for this thing because I have to make it like 2 times bigger, but I actually really like it, and I need to get on that. But no tutorial for this, I need to make it bigger. That's the beginnings of the Naruto logo. Obviously no tutorial. Here we have one of my miniature houses, guys. This is one of my miniature quartz houses, particularly dark one, and not a particularly great looking one. I think it's because of the black stained clay. I think if it was in a happier, a brighter colour, I would like this one a little bit more, but this is my miniature house number, I have no idea, but feel free to check out the miniature house playlist and you'll be able to find a tutorial for this. I probably don't have to show you the rest of this as it's kind of the same thing on every side. Moving down, here we have the sunglasses emoji. What else can I say? You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you want to make it. I quite like it. Here we have the heart eyes emoji. Oh, it's in love, how adorable. Tutorial on the channel if you want to make it. Here we have, these rows are a little weird. Oh, and we have to zoom out a bit. Here we have, oh my god, more. I need to zoom out more. Here we have the iPad, guys. I have a tutorial for this on the channel if you want to make it, or check out the Apple playlist. It contains all of my Apple builds. I quite like the iPad. Moving on down, oh my god, we have to get closer now. Moving on down, here we have the first emoji that I ever made, and I believe that this is either like the smile emoji or the happy emoji. You guys can find it in the emoji playlist if you want to make it. Here we have the crying emoji, one of my favourite emojis actually, despite how simple it is, and I've made some more complicated ones, but sometimes I quite like simple ones. This is the crying emoji. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you want. Here is, by popular demand, the most popular emoji that I've ever made, which is the poop emoji. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel. It's the most viewed emoji that I have ever made. And I like it because of that. I like it because you guys like it. Here we have another one of my miniature houses. This is one of my miniature quartz houses. You can see that I'm still very much liking, at this point in time, whenever this was, I'm very much enjoying the black stained clay. I think it was quite new at the time, and I wish that I didn't use it, because I think that the design of this house is actually really, really cool. I don't know, I've not seen anybody else with a design just quite like this, and I wish I would have used something bright to allure more people, because I actually really, really like this house. I thought it was somewhat of a cool idea. Miniature house, can't remember which one, feel free to check the playlist. Here we have, I remember this guy's name, here we have Lachlan. This is another YouTuber, feel free to find him on the channel. I have made a tutorial for him, as you'll be able to see. Here we have a couple of, I can't remember which one's like a flask and one's I don't know, hang on, let me find the difference. So I think here we have like a potion of healing on the right, and what do we have here? We have on the left like a splash potion of night vision or something. I just threw in an arbitrary colour. No tutorials for either of these, but I've been tempted to. I've been tempted to quite a few of these, because I think that they'd actually look kind of cool all stacked next to each other. That is the outline for a double chest. Here is an actual chest, which I've never made a tutorial for, despite the fact that everybody seems to use orange, but I think orange clay looks a lot better with the chest. Maybe I'll do a chest tutorial at some point. But they're so easy to make, and so many people have done them. I'm always dissuaded to do things like that. But that's just a regular chest. No tutorial for this on the channel. This, however, does have a tutorial. This is a piston statue, one of my favourite statues. Favourite item statues, I should say. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you want to make it. I think it's very cool. Now, let's get both of these together. So, here on the left we have a flint and steel. Here on the right we have a compass. I have actually made tutorials for both of these things, but I've never posted them to the channel. I should probably do that one day. Here we have a minecart statue, which I really should have combined with those rails, but this is the minecart statue, guys. Tutorial exists on the channel, very tedious to make, but if you like minecarts, I suppose you'd want to make it. Moving on to the next row, this is the first row that I ever showed you guys in this one. So this is the bargain mart from SpongeBob. Not too many people have made this, surprisingly enough. I thought that you guys would be all over this one when I first posted it on the channel, but it didn't receive that much attention. But I thought it was really good, but hey, what do I know? I really do like this though. If you guys want to make it, feel free to type in like bargain mart to the channel, or since that's somewhat difficult to spell, actually, surprisingly enough, you could just search in the SpongeBob playlist, the SpongeBob tutorials playlist, which there's actually a surprising amount of things in, and you can find it and make it if you want to make it. It's a cool house, it really is. Well, it's not really a house, is it? It's more of a shop, but it's a cool building nonetheless. I really like this thing, and I'm a little sad that it didn't really receive, you know, more views, more popularity. It was surprising because I actually worked quite hard on it. I sound so sad. I'm not that sad, I'm just surprised. Moving on down, here we have the Pinterest logo. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you so wish. It's just one of my very, very large variety of small logos. Here we have, oh my god, Squishy Duck, I can't remember her name. Stampy Longhead's girlfriend's Minecraft skin. Quite like it, to be honest with you guys. I quite like the colour. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you so wish. Here we have 8-bit Mega Venusaur, which looks very cool. We have 8-bit Mega Charizard Y, I believe. I get these mixed up. We have 8-bit Mega Charizard X. And here we have 8-bit Mega Blastoise. Now, I have not made a tutorial for any of these. I just kind of, a little bit more this way. I just kind of made these, well, just because I kind of wanted to make them. I've been making 8-bit Pokemon for quite a long time, and I kind of just wanted to make these. I thought that they looked really cool, and they do. No tutorials for any of them, though, just to restate that. So, here, moving on down, here we have the Apple product that kicked it all off. This is my iPhone 6, and if you guys haven't seen this in a while, you may notice that it actually has quite a few more apps. In the original version, it only has the top row. It has the message, the calendar, the photos, and the camera app. But during the live stream, I decided to add a couple of rows. So from Netflix down and Vine down, I actually made those on stream, and you guys kind of helped me out with them, and we had a bit of a chat, and we had a bit of a Q&A. It's quite nice. Follow me on Twitch, TSMC 360. iPhone 6, feel free to find this on the channel, Apple playlist, or type in iPhone 6. Very popular with you guys. Moving on down, here we have the Steam logo. Very similar to a lot of the other logos that I've done, Snapchat, Skype, very similar vein. Feel free to find this on the channel if you want to make it. Here we have, on the left, we have an iron ingot, on the right we have gold ingot. A few of you guys have actually asked me if I'll make tutorials for these, but I've never felt the need to, just because they're so small. Maybe I'll do it someday, who knows. On the left of me here, we have a regular apple. On the right of me, we have a golden apple. I've actually made tutorials of both of these, and I have also, which we won't see in this video, I've also made a notch apple, an enchanted apple, which looks very cool, actually. You guys can find tutorials for all three of those on the channel if you so wish. And this is my McDonald's. This is the very first restaurant that I've ever made. And you know what? I think it might be one of the first kind of like real world builds that I've ever done. You guys really love this thing, and you can find this quite easily on the channel. Just type in McDonald's. I believe that this is actually like, I'm trying to think, like, out of all of the theme builds that I've done, like, I've done a lot of SpongeBob, I've done Simpsons, I've done Family Guy, I've done a few other cartoons and stuff, but I don't think that until McDonald's and KFC later, I don't think that I've actually made, like, a real-world building, which is kind of crazy. As you can see, and you can take a better look in the actual McDonald's tutorial itself, I even did the interior for this, which is very rare for me. As you guys know, it's quite cool. It actually looks like a real proper McDonald's inside. This McDonald's has everything. It's got a drive-thru, it's got an entrance, it's got it's got cash registers, it's got a kitchen, it's got toilets, it's got the order board. Feel free to make this tutorial on the channel. Moving on to the second to last row, guys, we haven't got much of this left. Here we have the Fantastic Four logo. Despite being a colossal failure, movie-wise, unfortunately, this is the Fantastic Four logo. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel. I don't think that the logo itself is a colossal failure, though. I really like this thing. Here we have, coming up on the left of us, here we have my suburban house number 2. This is the second suburban house that I ever made, and it is as popular as the first one. You guys really loved this one as well, and I believe that you'll love the next one, and the next one. I don't know why, suburban houses always turn out well. Now, it does look a little weird here on the back. On the back, imagine that porch made out of quartz is extended all the way over the back, and it is connected to the opposite side of the house, and imagine that there is also hedging there. This is just the original version, and I think I knocked out some of the materials to like take measurements and stuff, but obviously, oh, and there's no quartz stairs underneath the right hand side of that roof. But imagine a more polished version of this with a nicer garden and stuff, and you'll get the real idea for my suburban house number 2. Very cool build. You guys know what to search, what to type in to make it. Feel free, there is a tutorial for it. Moving on down, this is one of my wooden houses. I did originally consider tagging it as a miniature house, but it's not that small actually, not on the inside. And this is one of those houses that is actually benefited a lot by an exterior. Some of the houses really are. You might be able to see like the hotel and the other house that we have over there on the next road. Those both have gardens. I really wish that this one had its garden, because like I just said, its garden is actually really cool. It really adds to the house, and I'm not just saying that. It's a really popular house as well. You guys have been loving it. So you guys can feel free to find this. It's wooden house number such and such. I don't know. Just check the playlist if you like it. This is, moving on up, you guys might be able to tell. This, oh my god. This is the PS4 controller, big giant pixel. You guys always request these. This is my PS4 controller. You guys can feel free to find a tutorial for this on the channel. Just type in PS4 controller. Moving on down, here we have my KFC. This is the second restaurant that I did, which I'm very proud of, by the way. I love this KFC. I actually think I did a better job with KFC than I did with McDonald's. Just on a purely aesthetic view, I just think that I did a better job with KFC. A lot of you guys seem to like McDonald's more, but hey, we all have our opinions. I really like this though, and honestly I'd make both of them. They'd look cool next to each other. So if you guys want to make this, a tutorial exists on the channel. You should be able to find it quite easily, as I believe that I posted it within the last couple of weeks. So of course you can just type in KFC. If you've made McDonald's, I would highly recommend making this one as well. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about building a fast food restaurant empire. I've asked you guys quite a few times, what fast food restaurant should I make next? And a lot of you guys are saying Burger King, Taco Bell, Buffalo Wild Wings, whatever Buffalo Wild Wings is. I've never heard of it. We don't have it in England, unfortunately. I'm sure it's delicious. So I think I'll probably pick between one of those three next, and I'll keep expanding and expanding until I have my very own fast food empire. I'll become my own fast food icon like Ronald McDonald, except it'll be Spider-Man. Yeah, okay, no one's gonna buy that. So that's KFC. Feel free to check that out on the channel if you want to make it. Moving on down, here we have one of my small wooden houses. I cannot tell you guys what this one is titled, but it looks very nice, very simple to make, and I believe that it looks quite a bit better with a garden, if I remember in my memory. It's actually been quite a while since I've made this. Despite the fact that it's next to KFC, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, that I posted this on the channel, so I really can't remember too much about it, guys. It's weird how it works. Two buildings could be directly next to each other, but they could be, you know, weeks and weeks apart. So that's one of my wooden houses. If you particularly like it, you guys know what to do. A tutorial exists for it. Here we have, I believe his name is Blitzwinger, the new skin. This is another YouTuber. Feel free to check out the channel. A tutorial exists for him. Here we have the panda emoji. Again, a tutorial exists for this. Feel free to check out the emoji tutorials playlist. I quite like it. It's very cute. Here we have another one of my houses. I like this one a lot, and you guys really like this one. I believe that this is... You know what, I can't remember what I entitled this one either. It's been a really long time, guys. I'm pretty sure it'll probably come up either underneath the miniature house playlist or the wooden house playlist. Maybe it's even classified as a cabin. I really can't remember what I titled these things, guys. I make so many, and I make so many... I have so many subsets of houses. I really do forget what I call these things, but it's a very cool small house. It's really easy to make as well, and I particularly like this one. It's been a long time since I've mixed so many materials into one particular house. Very cool. Tutorial exists if I haven't made that clear enough. Moving on to the last item in this row, here we have the Xbox One controller. This goes hand in hand with the PS4 controller, would you believe it? The companies are at odds, but the pixel art is not. Feel free to find this on the channel, or check out the consoles and controllers playlist. That's an actual real thing. It contains everything like this that you might want. Very cool. Moving on to the final row, guys. We only have one more row to show you. Starting this off, we have the 8-bit Justice League. So from going left to right here, we have Batman in 8-bit form. There is a tutorial on the channel for him. Here we have, coming up on our right, we have Superman. There is a tutorial for him on the channel as well. Love Superman. Here we have, coming up on the right again, we have a Wonder Woman, which I believe there is also a tutorial for on the channel. This is going too slow. Here we have Green Lantern, which there may be a tutorial for him on the channel by the time this goes up. It kind of depends. Here we have Aquaman. There will be a tutorial for him in the future very soon, but there isn't one currently. This is one of my more favorite out of these 8-bit creations. And last but not least, here we have the 8-bit Flash, which there is also a tutorial for on the channel. And all of these 8-bit creations, guys, you can find all of them. If you have any asks, feel free to check in the 8-bit tutorials playlist. That's a thing that exists. I've also made the 8-bit Avengers, and I've made plenty of other 8-bit creations as well. You'll be able to eventually find all of these in there. Moving on down, here we have another Apple product. Here we have the iPod Nano. I kind of went a little crazy with the Apple products, guys. My god, the company name eludes me. I went a little crazy with the Apple products. This is the iPod Nano. I find this particularly cool. I like this a little bit better than some of the others, just because I like smaller pixel art. But you guys can find a tutorial for this in the Apple playlist or on the channel. Moving on down, here we have the Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Z logo. Wherever you are from in the world, you'll pronounce it accordingly. This is a Dragon Ball Z logo. Very cool logo. You guys can find this on the channel logo playlist, or just type into the channel. It's actually a very recent build. Moving on down, here we have, and we'll give this thing a nice good circle, here we have the second hotel that I made, and I really love this one. As a matter of fact, I kind of joked about this in my last Creative World tour. I think I was inspired by like the Dragon Ball logo to make kind of something that it almost looks a little futuristic, this hotel. It almost looks as though it belongs in the Dragon Ball universe, or at least it kind of does to me. I really like this, and it's very popular on the channel. You guys like all of my hotels. All of my modern buildings, all of my suburban houses and hotels and stuff, and McDonald's, you guys have just been going crazy for them. You absolutely love them. Makes me feel good about myself when I design stuff that you guys really like, and I think I might have to design another hotel this week. I might have to do another one of those, but just to let you guys know what's coming up, I am going to be doing a hospital as well, just to throw something a little different in there. I might upload that on Wednesday. I might go a little crazy, but this is a hotel number 2, guys. It's actually extremely simple to make. It's a lot easier than my first hotel, and honestly, I actually like it a little bit better. It's very easy to make, and it takes a while to make. It'll probably take you about an hour. I actually built pretty much the entire thing on recording with no break whatsoever. I went a little mental building. I started talking about random things during the tutorial, but very easy to make, just a little time consuming. Good to make with friends. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel. Here we have yet another one of my wooden houses, and this is what I'm talking about. Can you see that I started to like do the outside of the houses like in my original world? I think it actually makes it look better. This is my, I don't know which one, guys. This is another one of my wooden houses. The last one that I think that I uploaded on the channel, I can't remember the name of it. It's like Wooden House 15 or something crazy like that. Looks very cool. Small, detailed, looks very good with a garden, and I also messed about with the interior just a little bit. You guys are actually giving this a lot of praise on the channel, and you're liking it as much as I do. And it's great because it will take you under half an hour, and that probably includes the interior and exterior as well. Very, very easy build, and I even did the inside. Shall we take a look at the inside a little bit whilst we're here? So I also messed about with the inside. The inside's a little bit cluttered. Here we have a kitchen, here we have a library, and coming up to the second floor we also have like a TV and like a little sofa, we have some speaker systems, and we have a bedroom. These are the sort of things that I show you in the individual house tours, but it's not really suited for this. So you guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel if you want. Moving on down here, we have another meme. This is the LOL meme face. You guys can find a tutorial for this on the channel. It already exists. Moving on down, we only have 2 things left, guys. Almost last but not least, here we have the regular iPod. This is an iPod, guys. I don't know what to say about it. It's an iPod. Oh, I do know what to say. You guys can see the app in the top right and the bottom left-hand corner. Those are supposed to be a different color. I was experimenting with something, and I forgot to change it. The actual real version of this doesn't look exactly like it. And you can also customize the color. If you don't want a blue iPod, you can have like a red one, or a green one, or a yellow one. That's what's kind of cool about those. But yeah, that's the iPod, guys. Feel free to find this on the channel. Made a tutorial for it. And last but no means least, we have Lion Maker Studios, guys. This is the last YouTuber that I've actually made and uploaded, I believe, at this current time. This is Lion Maker Studios. Feel free to find a tutorial for this statue on the channel. I'm particularly fond of it, especially because I don't really make statues out of wood anymore. I only really use clay and wool, so it was kind of cool to go a little different. And that's that, guys. That is the entire Creative World Tour, 100% fully complete. This is my favorite world to date, guys. It's my favorite world to date. I think that I have never had such a variety in one world. In front of us we have a hotel, we have the Dragon Ball Z logo, we have an iPod, we have the PS4 controller, we have a KFC, and in the background you can see the Apple iPhone 6. I don't think I have ever had such a great variety in one of my creative worlds, and I'm gonna be a little sad to see it go, to be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit sad to see it go. It's been a long, hard journey. So if you guys have liked this tour and you want to see more tours, which I'm going to do regardless of whether you like this video, feel free to give it a like, a share, a favorite. Next week, actually not next week, the week after next, you will be seeing my brand new creative world. And if you like to watch me stream at all, not very many of you watch me stream, it's kind of a fun secret club. If you like to watch me stream at all, you may have already seen the new creative world number 5. If you want to catch me, by the way, twitch.tv/TSMC360. Also follow me on Twitter at TSMC360. Everything's TSMC360. And I suppose that's it, guys. Feel free to comment down below. Do you like this? Would you like to see some more stuff? What do you want to see me build? Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.